there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. We're at this week's episode of the Friday Night Magic Spotlight. Willie, look at this! I'm going to play Modern! I'm going to actually play Modern at my local game store. Haven't in a long time, just out of protest, because of all the non-interactive decks that have been running around at my LGS, and it's just, you guys all know my feelings on Modern. I'm a little bit hyped with Modern Masters 3. I'm sure I'll get sick of the format when I start going up against the decks that just the high variance decks. For a little bit of reference, yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I got turn 2'd by Through the Breach. That's really fun to see 3 Simian Spirit Guides exiled on turn 2. My turn 1, mind you, and then Through the Breach Emrakul. So I know that that's ungodly, bad, or variant. I mean, the variance there is so high to have 3 Simian Spirit Guides, Through the Breach, Emrakul, and 2 lands in hand. But it happened, and it's something that can happen in Modern, and therefore if it can happen, it will happen. And it's just, those type of games are just no fun to play against. I know this deck can do a similar thing on turn 3 with the God Hand with Rite of Passage, but I mean, the thing that I like about this deck, and the thing I liked about even Splinter Twin and other combo decks like Abs and Company, and even like when Birthing Pod was around, is they didn't 100% rely on the infinite combo. It was just always that looming threat. Whereas a lot of these like Through the Breach decks, they really live or die on that Simian Spirit Guide. So anyways, let's just go to the deck tech. This is going to be an updated list of the Hardened Scales, Rite of Passage, Walking Ballista deck. I call it Snake's Passage. And right now, I don't have the cards for Trinket Mage. Therefore, I'm just running a one of. The Needle and the Relic of Progenitus and even the Cage seem like a little bit of just too much graveyard hate with the Scavenging Oozes and Anafenzas. I think that's usually enough. At least gives you some sort of way to deal with Dredge and deal with other graveyard-based strategies. And so I thought I'd try a bunch of people have suggested I try Ranger of Eos, so I'm going to do so. I'm going to try the Ranger, see how it works in the deck. In theory, we can chord into Ranger and find Hangarback Walker and Walking Ballista. This card might be more powerful than I'm giving it credit for, and maybe I should go up more in count. The problem with this deck is we're pretty much full. If I'm cutting Ranger, I'd probably have to cut Rishkar or Nissa, and both of these, Rishkar and Nissa, are both of the key cards that lead to turn 4 kills. So I don't know if I want to get rid of Rishkar or Nissa for another Ranger, and then Trinket Mage. Trinket Mage gets half the cards that Ranger gets, but it can get this Basilisk Collar. So there's also that other threat of just being able to combo with the Basilisk Collar, Archangel of Thune, and Walking Ballista. I definitely could just cut the Chord of Callings for more Rangers, but I just like the flexibility of Chord of Calling because it can go get you a Winding Constrictor. So a lot of times that's exactly what I do with 5 mana. Go get a Winding Constrictor when I already have a Walking Ballista, and then I'm good to go. So other than that, I would want another Noble Hierarch. 21 lands seems to be the right lands. I went and bit the bullet and bought Verdant Catacombs, which is probably the worst purchase in my entire life because they're getting reprinted. But for the video's sake, I did want to try Verdant Catacombs. That way we can have a better mana base to tutor up the swamp. So we have a singleton swamp, a singleton plains, and then 3 basic forest. Just 1 breeding pool for the Trinket Mage because it's more like running 8 breeding pools with the Verdant Catacombs and Windswept. And the Trinket Mage can be cast off both the Birds of Paradise and the Noble Hierarch. So again, I'm not quite sure how to fit more Rangers in here because the base of the deck is pretty much solid here. You don't want to mess with too much of this. You want the 4 of Winding Constrictors. You want the 4 of Hardened Scales. I think my only flex spot would be Rite of Passage. I am still winning quite a few games with the Rite of Passage Walking Ballista combo, but it's easy to disrupt. The Rite of Passage doesn't do a lot if you don't have the Walking Ballista. A lot of times it's just a dead card. I'd have to find more synergy with somehow dealing damage to my own creatures. And so Rite of Passage might end up just being cut down to a one of. I don't think you should cut it out of the deck because it is always that looming threat. You'd be surprised at how many people bring in like Stony Silences just because they die to Rite of Passage and then they bring it in. And it's like, I do not need my Walking Ballistas or Hangarback Walkers to activate. It's something that I can just push through. They get counters when you cast them, and then they can still, I mean, the Stony Silence is not that big of a deal. It really isn't. And then they still get the Gavony Township, Hardened Scales, Winding Constrictor upgrades whenever you activate a Gavony Township. And they, at that point, any creature is a threat. Even Birds of Paradise and Noble Hierarchs are threats. So if you've played this deck and you have other ideas for the deck, let me know. I decided to go anti-aggro strategy for this one, as I've been doing a lot of fetch shocking, and so Spike Feeder is the best card for that in the sideboard, as the Spike Feeder comes in off of Hardened Scales up to a 3/3, and that's 6 life. That's huge for just a 3 mana cost creature. And then a lot of times you can get up higher than 6, and it's going to gain you a ton of life. So it's my anti-burn card for sure. Thoughtseize, probably should go up more in Thoughtseize. Just don't have the room for them, because I, again, want some more graveyard and some flex spots with Abrupt Decay and Dromoka's Command. So we're just playing like 2, 2, 2, 3, and then 3. Just an array of cards to deal with just basically giving up slots against the combo-based decks. I don't think my plan to beat combo is just to go off quicker. This deck is very capable of turn 4ing just through the aggression of the creatures. The best is a first turn Birds of Paradise into a second turn like Hardened Scales, Walking Ballista, for example, and then it's a 2/2, and then you'd be surprised at how quickly you can actually attack in for lethal. With Walking Ballistas, and then something like Nissa or Gavony Township, and then like Hardened Scales effect, and then you're getting double the counters, and then Walking Ballista attacks in for a lot, and then you can remove all the counters on the same turn. So I've done a ton of turn 4s with just the aggression of the deck. So one of those was funny because they did bring in like Stony Silence, and I just aggroed them out. So still running the Archangel of Thune Spike Feeder combo, still running the Basilisk Collar Archangel of Thune Walking Ballista combo, still the Rite of Passage Hardened Scales Walking Ballista. So they're all in here, a lot of ways to enable it. Chord of Calling is very flexible to get the different various pieces, like a Winding Constrictor, Spike Feeder, Archangel of Thune. It can't hit like a Hangarback Walker or a Walking Ballista, but that's fine. It's still very much viable to hit Rishkar, Spike Feeder, Archangel, Trinket Mage, Ranger, Winding Constrictor, Scavenging Ooze. It's perfect for it. Don't think I quite need an Eternal Witness or the Renegade Rallier in here. I mean, Modern, we're so spoiled with just so many acceptable targets for this deck, but for this case, I think we want to be pretty much as focused as possible with the Walking Ballistas, Hangarback Walkers. I've heard people talk about Arcbound Ravager. Arcbound Ravager could easily come in here, but I think you want to go more of a module route at that point, as it does give a sack out life for the Hangarback Walker. I also think maybe we should try an Evolutionary Leap. Evolutionary Leap does seem pretty good with the Hangarback Walker, as well as the plant tokens. So maybe I'll try to jam one in here. Evolutionary Leap. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Leap. Maybe I don't have any. Let's see. Reset all. Leap. Evolution. Wow, what is wrong with my... Do I have anything clicked here? I'm in Modern, right? In cards. We'll see what's happening here. Evo. Okay. Wow. Let's see here. Reset. Sometimes this is a fickle thing. Jeez. Quantity's down. Versions is... Okay, maybe we'll just do this. Maybe... Oh, I'm only showing promos. Womp womp. I had that up for lands, too. Everyone hates it when I play lands that aren't full art lands, so now we can find Leap. Alright, that fixed it. Evolutionary Leap. Perfect. So we'll have one Evolutionary Leap in the sideboard. I think at this point I have to just cut a Fatal Push, though. And just go a bunch of 2s or whatnot. So that. We'll put that in the sideboard just for... ways to have huge card advantage versus control. So anyway, we'll go ahead and queue this up. I'll have the deck list in the description. And let's go ahead and find a game here. And see... Oops. Let's actually find a real game here. See if there's a Modern ready to go. Queue this up. And see if we can get a match. Meanwhile, let's just go back and talk about cards that may go in here for the sake of me not editing, and you can listen to me ramble while we find a match. My meta in my game is all over the place. There sometimes is Merfolk Elves. There's 2 players that do play ad nauseum. Affinity, Jund, Infect is big. There is burn decks. There is a lot of just Chord of Calling and collected company type strategies. There is a few eggs type variants out there. I don't think anyone has like the full eggs list like the Mox Opal. I know there's a Pure Seal Paladin list out there. There's a lot of things to combat. In Modern, I think the problem is it's really tough to be able to interact with all the different ways to deal with combo. So, alright, so we got a game going here. And this is not a keepable hand. It sucks because we don't have a green source, so we're going to have to ship it back. This is often the problem with this deck is it does have some awkward opening hands. This would be a perfect opening hand if we did have a green. I would definitely keep it because we get the Trinket Mage to go get Birds of Paradise and Trinket Mage into the Ballista. This is also a pretty terrible hand, but I am going to keep it and put this on the bottom. So we do need some help here. We are going against a Death and Taxes deck. So, not sure. Actually, I think I've won every matchup versus a Death and Taxes. If they're Eldrazi, they might have... I mean, they have the first turn, so... that we have part of the combo piece here, though. So, I think I'm just going to go get... At this point, we will just go get the Temple Garden and put the Basilisk Collar. And that's pretty good. But, of course, we do want to hit a creature as soon as possible. Hardened Scale, or a Walking Ballista would be awesome here. Okay, I was wrong on the Death and Taxes, unless it's Death and Taxes Blood Moon, which it definitely could be at the Sacred Foundry. I still think that's what it is. So, ooh, a Soul Warden with an Aether Vial. Soul Sisters with Aether Vials, huh? I think that is kind of... Yeah, alright. So, it's Norin combo. Haven't played against this for quite a while. Off to a pretty good start, but my opponent, unfortunately, we're off to an incredibly slow start, which is not ideal. Our opponent doesn't have too many cards left in hand. Don't want to get Blood Moon, so I'm probably going to go and get a black source, so it looks like Blood Moon is the card, which is fine, because we've actually... got basics for everything. Archangel of Thune is now not castable, though, unless I get a Birds of Paradise. So, my opponent is really, really slow here. And, oh, that cut me out of green, too. Maybe I should have got a green. Womp womp. Yeah, that is going to be my mistake. That's going to cost me. So I need, like, Walking Ballistas and stuff to get me out of this. Sometimes you just draw well. I got lucky there. So my greed pays off. And if you pass this, too, we'll have another white source. Or no, we won't. I only have one white source in the deck, so... Again, my opponent doesn't have too much. I don't really understand the Aether Vial in here. I know it can like get up to Perforos, but that's fine. See if Perforos comes out here. Oh, okay. Now Genesis Chamber is huge. That was a card that is going to be very, very problematic because he's going to gain a ton of life and a ton of creatures, and the Champion of the Parish is going to get massive. But if I do get a Walking Ballista, I stop the combo. So I just need to avoid the... Man, Blood Moon actually is going to do a lot of work because my Gavony Townships are dead. But this deck is such a mess to play on MTGO with all these triggers. So my opponent is out of cards though. So Ballista will kill both the Soul Warden and the Soul's Attendant. Birds is fine. It's okay. But this gives my opponent even more mirrors, so... Oh, it gives me one. That's true. So I can actually just equip the Basilisk Collar to a mirror. And the next turn we can have the Archangel of Thune, which is very, very strong. So, apologize for the annoying amounts of triggers. Sarah's Ascendant or Perforos is going to be the card that kills us, or Impact Tremors. I'm just going to block the 1. Because we do need to attack in with our Death Toucher next turn. And that'll get counters on everything. And hopefully that will still... And then can I re-equip? Yeah, no I can't. Yes I can, because I can Rishkar re-equip. That is not a card I wanted to see. White, white, white. 1. Well, Archangel Thune. So our opponent is up to an insane amount of life. And then we'll attack in. Which should block with his mirror right here. But that's fine. It will give us all my dudes counters. Which I can now also equip this back to keep his champion from attacking in. So now he shouldn't be able to attack with all his mirrors. He needs to find a solution for the Archangel of Thune. But I mean, this is going to be a long, grindy game, and it's going to really require hitting a Walking Ballista as soon as possible. So Ranger's really good here. Chord of Calling is actually pretty decent. I'll end up casting this other Rishkar most likely just for value. So what our opponent... It's really up to top decking now. So let's see. Did you just cast another Norin? Yeah. This is the worst attack in the history of attacks. If my opponent wants to attack and get negative damage. That was a terrible, terrible attack. He just gave me a ton of life and +1/+1 counters. And has no cards in hand, right? I do not understand that attack. That was a throw. Major throw right there. I mean, my opponent's still good. And possibly... But I'm going to be able to go lethal here pretty soon. And there we go. Now we have it. Now it's over. Because we get the infinite combo. Yep. So... How much mana do I have? I have to tap for green. Green. 1, 2... Oh, no, I can't get walking... I can get... Let's see. I can get 5. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll chord for Ranger. Why did I do 5? That was my bad. Could have done 4. It doesn't matter, though. We'll Ranger here. And we'll go ahead and get the double Walking Ballistas. Once again, attacking with the Basilisk Collar. He's going to let it go through, sure. No Hardened Scales yet. And we can't quite cast a Walking Ballista. Yeah, Summoning Sickness. So that is fine. I mean, you can get in with the Champion of the Parish. I'll just block at this point with a Mirror. So, again, we are close to that infinite combo. I just need my Walking Ballista on 2, and yes, I can equip. And then that's infinite. Another Genesis Chamber is not going to do it. So I'll just take the damage from the Champion of the Parish. If he attacks in again with his mirrors. Look at those Genesis Chambers. That's a ton of them. Yeah, it's over now. All right, so this is the first time I've actually seen the Basilisk Collar combo with the Ballista, believe it or not. And yeah, man, how do people play this Norrin? It is so messy with triggers. Spike Feeder. Now I've got another infinite in my deck, so let's go ahead and just do the Walking Ballista on 2. 3, 4. We can do it for 3. It doesn't matter at this point. And that is going to be infinite. And he's going to make me go through it, huh? Well, that's pretty crappy. He's going to make me go through it. Whatever. We will go through this. This is considered terrible etiquette, by the way. I mean, to each his own, though. This is taking his time period, too. So, or his time clock, too. But, I mean, maybe he's trying to communicate with me, so I shouldn't get too salty. But usually if an infinite is established, especially when you're playing a deck that's going to require a ton of time, like Norrin. He has no flyers, right? So I can just attack him with the flyer once this gets up. Trying to get me to chat too while I'm doing my infinite to waste more of my time? Whatever. 38, 39, 40, 41. I can count. All right. And that's that. Alrighty, we'll go to the sideboard. And go ahead and bring in Fatal Pushes are okay, but I think just Abrupt Decays. Dromoka's command can make him sacrifice the Perforos. Is Perforos going to be in here is the thing. You know what? Thoughtreize is actually quite strong versus this deck because it can get rid of a very, very key. But I think we can just be more proactive just with Dromoka's command and Abrupt Decay. So I don't think I need the Fatal Pushes or the Thoughtseizes. The Rite of Passage combo definitely. We get like clogged up, so this is the perfect card for Rite of Passage. Even Spike Feeder, I think one of Rishkar can come out. Hangarback Walker, in all honesty, probably isn't the best card in this one. I'm just going to take out, even though because he's not going to kill, he's going to path it if that's the case. So I think the Hangarback can just come out, and that way I could even bring in like a Fatal Push and take out the other Hangarback Walker. Scavenging Ooze is also probably not a necessity. Yeah, I'll take out a Scavenging Ooze, even though I can kill his stuff that's in the graveyard. But again, I don't think that's going to be the issue. So Rishkar still seems really, really good because we do want to... Evolutionary Leap is okay to try to find answers. Anafenza is also okay because it can put me ahead. But I could run even more Spike Feeders. I think the right call is... It's not going to be... Yeah, we could bring in the Evolutionary Leap just for sheer card advantage. Let's try it out. Because it's going to get clogged up. If I get a Nissa out, Nissa's going to allow plant tokens. I mean, maybe Nissa's weaker than Walking Ballista. Or, excuse me, Hangarback Walker. Alright, so we have sort of the combo here. We need to get a Hardened Scales effect. So this I think he's got Blood Moon in his hand if he's gonna go get just a basic Plains. Oh wow, we have a great hand against Blood Moon. Got the Norn already. Champion. I might shoot that down. Hate to use it right now. I think the Soul Sister's more important to shoot down, though. Hopefully, I want like a Hardened Scales or a Snake here. Sometimes you get... Why wasn't that last turn, though? Oh, well. Because now we're in great shape. And if he Blood Moons me, it's not a, in this hand. It's kind of another wasted card because we have the green source. But he might just be too, yeah, it just might be too tempting to Blood Moon here. And this means, yeah, it's Blood Moon because there's no way he would have cast a human if that's nothing. Okay, maybe it's like Path to Exiles or something. So I'm gonna go grab the white source here. Play around Blood Moon. And we'll Walking Ballista for 2. And this Walking Ballista just beats him with 4 lands. It completely beats him. He's got a Path to Exile it. I'd actually rather kill the... Soul Warden. And we could kill the champion, depends. See if he paths. That's a path. I want to make him waste the path. So we do have the infinite combo whenever I feel comfortable playing it. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I can't react to the sudden shock. He's going to hate my next turn. He probably has the Path to Exile in his hand, so it's going to be able to kill the Walking Ballista. But again, we got lots of value. I've got the other infinite. Okay, so we'll put out the Walking Ballista. Not going to kill off the champion because there's no point. Because I have the infinite. And then I'll make him react to it. So 3 cards left in our opponent's hand. Might have some sort of Celestial Flare in his hand. Another sudden shock could be super annoying. But we're going to go for the infinite here. Probably should have just windswept, but... Oh, yep, Rite of Passage. He's going to path. So at this point we do get rid of the champion. So stop that infinite combo. You had to use a lot of resources doing so, though. And again, now we have the Archangel of Thune. Blood Moon doesn't hurt us. So our opponent have even another path in his hand. Two cards in hand. Yeah, Stony Silence doesn't do anything now. I love how everyone brings that in, and it's not that great versus me. I mean, maybe there's just nothing better. It stops the Walking Ballista, and we have Abrupt Decay for it anyway. So we need to go get another. We need to get a Temple Garden here. And see if they're... Nope. Alright, so this is going to be really good. We'll go the other infinite combo, unless it dies to a Sudden Shock times 2? Yeah, that doesn't... Yes, it's Sudden Shock again. Look at the Sudden Shocks. Crazy. My opponent is out of cards, though. Triple Sudden Shock Path to Exile. See, when I play Soul Sisters, I feel the same way. Like, when you start going so proactive... I'm going to go get a blue source with here, probably. But, or do I need to get another green for Blood Moon? We'll see. Oops, I probably shouldn't have gone with my Overgrown Tomb, because I can... Or I tapped everything, so I couldn't Abrupt Decay. There's Norin. At this point, I don't care. We'll get a Breeding Pool. Rishkar's great. Let's just go ahead and tap... I don't even think I care about attacking in because I'd rather put counters on everything. Or do I just attack it at this point? I'm pretty far ahead. Yeah, I think I won't attack in. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, I don't have enough mana. So, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I'll keep it back. We'll be greedy. Giant's Pridemate doesn't do anything at this point. Alright, now we'll start attacking in. Can we almost... I can almost go lethal here. So 13, 14, 15, 16... Yep, we go lethal this, actually. So, yeah, we win next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 17 perfect. So green, black, Abrupt Decay. That is game. Ta-da! So our opponent did a great job stopping every infinite combo for that game, but I mean, just look at the synergies in this deck. It is insanely fun. I'll probably do a deck tech to how to play Hardened Scales in every format, because it's something I think as a new player, if you're getting right into Magic right now, you can build Hardened Scales. Well, so it's the Snake deck, and there's a budget way to do the Snake deck in in Standard, where you don't necessarily need the what's the stupid artifact, the Gearhulk. You don't need the Verdant Gearhulk necessarily. You can run like Bristling Hydra, which is a bulk rare, or close to a bulk rare, and then Longtusk Cub, and then also run so Winding Constrictor, then Rishkar there. You'll need the Winding Constrictor's Rishkar for every format, and the Nissas. So if you get that base and the Walking Ballista, if you kind of get this, well, let's just talk about it here. This Walking Ballista route here. So this and the Winding Constrictor, the Rishkars, and Nissas, those will go in the Standard, and then you fill it up with Bristling Hydras, Longtusk Cubs. Then you go into Frontier. You can bring in the Chord of Callings if you want. I don't think Chord necessarily works in that version, but you bring in the Revolt dudes, both of them, the Green Warden and the Green Wheel, something like that. It's a 4/3, and then you bring in Hardened Scales, and then the other Revolt guys are fine. And then you have the Hangarback Walker, Walking Ballista, and you just go a beatdown route. And then for Modern, of course, here's the list is always subject to change. There's different things we want to tinker with this deck. So Evolutionary Leap can actually even happen in the Frontier one. So highly suggest picking up this kind of shell. I think it's going to be good post-rotation too, because you lose Nissa, so maybe not. So, but I mean, we have a long time before rotation in September. There's actually 2 more sets that might have +1/+1 counters, or it just might have ways to pretty much hose +1/+1 counters. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this match. This deck is insanely fun. Again, I'm going down further and further in Rite of Passages, but you've seen enough games. Almost, I'm still winning about 10% of the games with the Rite of Passage Walking Ballista combo. And this deck just does insanely well against the attrition-based matches and also the aggro-based matches. Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.